What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to test out the new Blendiful makeup applicator from Tatibeauty. Now, I wasn't going to do a full video on this. I was going to wait until I had like some PR to open and a few other things that we could do a full face of first impressions on. But then I watched Tati's video in full and I realized that she applied a whole ass base, like her whole base routine with just this powder puff. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to use this to apply everything from my foundation all the way up to my highlighter. Not a brush, nary a sponge will touch this face today. Realistically, I know a lot of people are saying that this is not a new invention, and no, it's definitely not. There have been makeup velour puffs on the market for a long time, but I looked into the ones that are widely available, and there are a few. There's even a fairly new one by Beauty Blender, it seems, but they're not quite like this one. A lot of them are just round. The Beauty Blender one is kind of egg-shaped, so it's not too dissimilar from this, but it looks smaller and it doesn't look quite as fluffy. It's definitely not the same material as this. So, I mean, this is fairly unique. It's not groundbreaking. She didn't reinvent the wheel, but something new, and it's definitely something new to me because I haven't used a puff to apply my makeup in a long time. I definitely have never used one to apply my entire base routine from start to finish. That's for freaking sure. So I'm gonna take you with me as I use this sponge today. Before we get into it, please don't forget to leave a like on this video because it's very helpful to me. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here because I would love to have you around for more videos. I don't really think there's anything to talk about, so I'm just gonna like take us back in a little time machine for a second to when I had no makeup whatsoever on my face at all, and we're gonna get to it trying out the Tati Blendiful Beauty Sponge. Pad? Puff? I don't know what to call this thing. The Blendiful. Okay, so I have my Blendiful here. It's still in the package. I opened it and took a look at it and like felt it and stuff because, you know, a bitch was curious. And I literally just finished watching Tati's video on how she recommends you use this. There was a lot of information in that video, and I really hope that I recall it all. I'm going to try to use it for all of the different things that she said it could be used for, which basically translates to your entire base routine. To start, she mentioned that you can use the Blendiful to apply your pore filling primer, but she doesn't think it's worth it to bother with your regular primer. And the primer that I use for pore filling is the Milk Makeup Blur Stick, which you really can't use on a sponge because it's like super solid. It's not creamy at all. Like if I rubbed a sponge on this, it wouldn't do anything. So I'm just gonna apply that as I normally would. So we won't be doing the primer with that today, but I think that's like the least of our concern here. She did say that because the sponge is so large, she thinks that you could use the entirety of the surface area of it to apply your whole base. So that's exactly what I'm going to try to do today. We'll see if we have enough space. I'm going to use my current favorite foundation. This is the Urban Decay Stay Naked. I'm going to take a couple pumps on the back of my hand and go to town. I'm going to dip into my foundation. Let's see. She mentioned using like that roll and pat motion a lot. This feels really nice and soft. It kind of feels like I'm like snuggling into a fuzzy blanket. I don't look great. I look a little dead right now, but like the texture looks, she's cute. She's cute. The steps in my base routine usually are primer, foundation, and then I use my light bronzer before I go in and do anything to my brows or my eyelids. So I'm going to try that next. That's about how much space it took for me to do my foundation with this. I'm going to use a little corner over here. That looks pretty good. Let's see up here. Tati, you did something here, I think. She mentioned when you contour that she recommends you kind of fold it, like taco it like this and do that. But I'm not trying to get that contour line right now. I'm just trying to like warm up my skin. So far, I'm pretty into this, and I definitely do have quite a bit of space left to use this sponge for other things. And if I'm not mistaken, like I could use the back side of this too. Like I don't see any reason why I couldn't just like do one of these. I'm also filming another video right now where I'm going to be using the ABH Ombrizi palette and doing 3 looks with it and a review. I don't know which one of these you're going to see first, but I'm going to hop off camera and I'm going to do my eyes and my brows for that video. And when I'm done with the top half of the eyes, I will pop back in with you guys and we will do concealer and under eye powder and see how it works for that. Okay, the time to conceal has come, and it just sort of dawned on me that my concealer has like a doe foot wand, so I'm not going to be able to do like an actual application. I mean, I could put it on the back of my hand, but I feel like that's an extra step and it would be wasteful. So I'm just gonna apply by dabbing it on like in the shape that I normally put on my concealer, and then we'll blend it in with the Blendiful. I'm gonna do what Miss Tati said and kind of wrap it around my finger to make it smaller and more accurate in that area. One thing I can tell I already like about this for concealer is that I do feel like I'm getting more control around the side of my nose. A lot of times when I go in with a sponge, I feel like, especially if I've already contoured my nose, I get like all of my concealer like all the way up my nose and have to redo like the side of my nose contour. But this has been a little bit easier to keep it in place there. I've been kind of switching back and forth between rolling and patting motion just because I'm so used to going like this from a beauty blender, you know what I mean? But I do think that the roll is working better. All right, looks pretty good. No complaints. Let's powder it, baby. We gotta powder it, baby. I'm gonna take my Urban Decay One and Done brush off powder, which I have been using quite frequently. I'm just gonna dip this right into the pot and place it underneath the eyes. We'll discuss this more at the end, but so far I've been having a very easy time using this. I know that she said that there was like a learning curve, but honestly it seems pretty intuitive to me, the way that you would use this. And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go and finish the eye look and stuff like that, and we'll do the rest of the base with it toward the end. But one of the things I already think is a huge advantage is the fact that you could use this dry, like I don't have to worry about it being wet enough. And she did say that it's super easy to clean. Before the end of this video, we'll wash this and see how it comes out. All right, now that the eyes are done, I'm going to try to wipe the powder away with this sponge pad, fluff, poof, a puff, it's a puff. From what I recall, she didn't say anything about wiping away your powder with it, but you know what? I'm fully invested in this process and we're doing that. We're doing that. Seems to work just fine. Not surprising, because it's a pretty easy task. So the product I've been contouring with most of the time recently is Benefit Hoola Bronzer, the original shade. The only thing I'm concerned about is because this is like in a box, will I be able to get it in there? Time will tell. Just shoving it in. Curling it up and shoving it in. That's what she said. I'm gonna keep it folded up just like she did. Just pat my contour on. I just turned it around to grab the cleaner corner. I'm just gonna blend it in with that. Not for nothing, but I look good. I mean, I don't like saying that because I feel like I'm being braggy. Like, oh, look how good I look. But like, no, like my skin looks pretty good. Like, especially good, like better than usual. It's just very, very easy to blend things with this. All right. All right. Usually I use like a really tiny brush to like contour the tip of my nose. I don't think I'm going to be able to replicate that process with this because it's just not small enough, but I'm going to use the edge of it just to kind of dab down the side of my nose. Create that contour line. Okay, pretty easy. Could I possibly contour the tip of my nose with this? Can I get it small enough? I'm just gonna squeeze it down and roll it up to see if I can do it. Oh, one little thing is I feel like I lost some of the coverage on the end of my nose with my foundation right there. All right, that's not like the most precise contour for the end of my nose, but it did work. I initially was going to use a cream contour with this. I felt like I needed to, but now having used it with so many powders in a row, I don't think that I need to do that. I'm gonna start with the Nabla Skin Glazing and Amnesia. I'm just gonna flip the sponge over and use the other side, which is easy enough because you just flip the little holder to the other side too. You got a whole ass clean side to go. I'm just gonna use the tip of it and see how that works out. I don't know if that's gonna be precise enough. I might need to roll it over itself. All right, I'm not super impressed with that. It's just not applying it like especially intensely. Let's see if I can pick some more up to get it to be a little bit more intense. It's not the most intense way to apply highlight that I've ever seen, but it's definitely not bad, and it is very easy to blend everything in with it. Like that looks nice and even and blended, whereas sometimes, you know, you get like that stripe and you gotta kind of work back over it to make sure everything's copacetic. And I'm going to go back over the center of those highlighted areas with Benefit Cookie Highlighter. I'm just going to use the tip of the sponge to do it. Just tap it right in the middle of those high points. I'm going to flip it around and grab the clean spot and just use that to blend over the edges of all that. Finally, one last step and we will have done our entire base with this one sponge. I'm going to grab my little blush palette from the Balm. This is the Girl Powder Auto Balm palette. I'm going to dip into a little bit of both of these first two blush shades. I like to kind of mix them together. Just tap on with that. Easy enough. No complaints there either. You know, so far I'm shockingly more impressed with this one little thing than I really thought I was going to be. I didn't think this was going to be all that exciting. So my makeup's done, my face is done, and I even went so far as to test out what it's like to clean this. Because in Tati's video, she made a point to talk about how it's very easy to clean and it's very fast drying. So I took a, not the greatest video, but video of myself washing this in the bathroom, and I'm going to insert that footage here. She said you could clean this with soap and water, so I'm just going to go ahead and pump a little bit of my Mrs. Meyer soap on it, rub it in. Okay, I don't feel like regular, just plain old run-of-the-mill soap is getting the foundation off the tip of it, like at all. Like there's still a lot of foundation left in there. So I'm gonna try a little bit of this Juno & Co. sponge soap that I use to clean my beauty blenders and see if that maybe does a better job. This is really difficult with one hand, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but I don't have a tripod for this little camera, so what you gonna do? All right. I don't think it's perfect, but it's much better. My conclusion about cleaning it is that it's not that easy to clean. It's maybe slightly easier to clean than a beauty blender. I did not find that it was very easy to clean with a liquid soap, and I did wind up using that Juno & Co. soap, but that's just essentially like a fancy bar soap, so I'm assuming that it would probably work a lot better with a bar soap because most sponges do as well. And as far as it drying very quickly, as she said, it does seem like it's almost completely dry now, and it's only been about 5 minutes since I washed this. So I do think that it does probably dry pretty fast. My overall conclusion is that I like this thing. I don't think that my makeup has looked this smooth and blended in quite a while. The only thing that I didn't absolutely insanely love it for, and that I would probably go back to a brush to apply, is highlighter. I think that it did a nice job as far as applying it very evenly and very blended, but it didn't quite give me the same intensity from my powder highlight that I normally get from using a highlight brush that I know that I like for highlight. I can definitely see how this is very convenient. I can definitely see myself using this in my daily routine instead of a sponge, which is saying something because I have been a beauty blender ass bitch for a long time. And one really positive that I could see with this is that I feel like it'll be great for travel, because if I could just apply my entire base routine for the most part with this, I don't have to take a whole pile of face brushes with me in my makeup bag when I go somewhere, which is fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, we love that. We love that. We love that. I do have to say that I cannot stop thinking about the fact that the name Blendiful makes me think of Blendiful dog food. All I keep thinking is colorful, flavorful, Blendiful. And I don't want to think about dog food while I put makeup on my face. I don't want to think about dog food on my face. I don't. But that's what I'm thinking. But it doesn't affect it because, you know what, it's just a name. And what is a name? It's just a word. It's just a sound that comes out of your mouth. But I do keep thinking it, and I couldn't not say that I'm thinking it, okay? I'm sorry. Tati, I'm sorry. I love you. Please don't hate me, queen, please. I didn't really touch on this a whole lot, but you also get a mini Blendiful in the package. This is super cute. It's heart-shaped. It's very good for just sticking in your bag. I didn't really use it today because I had plenty of room left on the big one, but I will say that the big one feels slightly softer than this one. It might just be something with the shape, because this one is like, you know, doesn't have as much flop to it because it's smaller. But overall, I would say that this experience was very, very positive, and I'm definitely going to continue using this and see if it becomes a part of my regular routine. Let me know in a comment down below, did you feel interested in this product when you saw her announce it? Did you pick it up? Did you use a velour puff in your makeup routine already? Are you a sponge person? Are you a brush person? I would love to hear it in the comments down below. Please don't forget to leave a like on this video if you found it helpful or if you just enjoyed it. And also, if you're new around here and you want to hang out, I want to hang out too because, I don't know, I think we'll get along really great. So go ahead and subscribe and just click it right down there. Also, if you want to keep up with me between these videos, I am at Miss Queenface over on Instagram, and I would love to have you there as well. I think that's all we have to talk about today. I feel like I have been on camera for a long time, and that's not what I expected when testing one makeup applicator. So I'm gonna sign off now. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and watching and hanging out with me today. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next one.